girls, it's Coach K, Coach Kara here, and here's the first video I'm creating for you guys. And really I'm just gonna pick up where we left off. So I went ahead and grabbed the activities overview, and that's what I'm gonna follow is in terms of creating videos, at least in the beginning. So make sure that you have your handy dandy wellness journal so that you can take notes for this one. This is going to be less of a physical one, more of a health kind of lesson, if you will. Something that we did miss Fitness Inspiration Week, so I'm going to revisit that, and home-based body weight workout. So we'll revisit that in another video. So this one today is going to be identity diet and holistic nutrition. All right, so let's get into it. What in the world is identity diet? Have you asked yourself that? Have you ever wondered, what does she even mean by identity diet? Have you ever heard the term identity diet? Well, let me break it down to you just as an example. Have you ever met someone who introduces themselves, and they introduce themselves along with their name or where they're from? They identify themselves as what they eat. For example, have you ever met someone who says, "Hi, I'm a vegan," or "Hi, I'm a vegetarian," or "Hi, I'm trying the keto diet"? So maybe that's not the first thing out of their mouth after their first name, but for some people, it's such an interwoven part of who they are. They do actually present it in an initial meeting or connection with somebody. So let's take, for example, right now, keto is really, really hot, right? The keto diet. And for one, I think the keto diet actually has a really, really wonderfully balanced and valid place in the kind of holistic nutrition toolbox. I don't believe or feel that keto is a long-term solution for someone whose body weight is relatively within the natural range of where their height and weight is. So someone wanting to just slim down a little bit, keto is good for that, but it's really, really designed for a person who has excessive weight, really is, you know, that 20, 30, 40 or more pound weight overage, and they know that they need to shed that. And so keto is great. You go into what the body's called as ketosis. So I can do a whole video on just keto if you're interested in understanding a little bit more about it. If you're on any kind of social media right now, you're definitely going to be coming across keto diet, K-E-T-O. And it's short for ketosis, is what your body goes into. You eliminate the carbs, you eat proteins and veggies, and you do have a dramatic drop in weight. However, it is not a long-term lifestyle. So that's keto. I can do a whole video. Request that in the comments below if you're interested in hearing or understanding more about what a keto diet is and how to go about doing a keto diet, or why do a keto diet, or who should do a keto diet. All right, so back to identity diet. So there, even within the last 50, 60 years, people were still, especially in westernized countries, people were still, just kind of having that existence as far as food and sustenance lifestyle. Except for maybe a very small percentage of the whole population, people didn't really talk about what they ate or what kind of food that they identified with, even just 50, 60 years ago. So it really is something that's kind of new in the consciousness of people when they identify as a person with what they eat. So people even 100 years ago really were still in somewhat of a survival mode where they're just trying not to die. They're just trying not to die. They were just trying to eat enough food and feed their families. So fast forward to this modern world where we have the luxury of being like, I don't know if I want to eat that. Is it vegetarian? Right? So we have this very, very privileged, if you will, kind of way of looking at food, where someone can be more particular about what they eat instead of just saying, hey, I'm hungry, I need to eat. It can go to all of these different levels of being able to have all of these selections. So someone who then takes that and then utilizes their choices of food or lack of choices of food is what this term identity diet is. I was the first one. I can't recall anyone else who I've heard use this specific term, and I've been talking about the identity diet probably since 2004, 2005, and I think more and more today it's making even more and more sense, and it's more and more relevant. So this identity diet is when someone presents themselves with what they eat or what they don't eat. Let me give you another example. When I was in high school, I was a vegetarian. So I identified as a vegetarian, and man, did I not waste an opportunity to tell people. I actually suffered from the identity diet syndrome, if you will, because I felt that I was somehow righteous because I was a vegetarian. I felt somehow I had found the superior diet, and I wanted to tell everyone that I was a vegetarian and that, you know, if they're eating meat, you know, I kind of actually even slid into the world of judgmentalness back when I was in high school, because when I had chosen to become a vegetarian, I saw the opposite as a bad thing or a negative thing. Totally gross behavior, totally gross. Thank goodness I grew out of that. And not only do I eat meat again, but I don't judge people, of course, about anything that they choose to eat or not to eat. I also grew out of identifying myself as a person with what I eat or what I don't eat. So this is something that I want you to be aware of, the identity diet. When you're hearing about, you know, this person's vegan, or this person or this couple is pushing veganism, or this person or people are pushing being a vegetarian, and that could be a lacto, ovo, or a pesce vegetarian. Lacto meaning dairy, ovo meaning eggs, pesce meaning fish. So there's that variety of being a vegetarian. And someone who might be a fruitarian who only eats fruit, or someone who might be a macrobiotic eater, or someone who might be, well, Atkins is kind of like an old term for keto, but someone who eats excessive protein. So this is just something I wanted to share with you, and it's a friendly reminder that as we go through different seasons in our life, it's okay to experiment with different kinds of foods and beverages, and maybe we find that some things make us feel better, and maybe we find that some things make us feel worse. I know Jordan Peterson, who his book, The 12 Rules for Life, has been on the New York Times bestseller. He's a professor and also a really, really great public speaker. Gives really, really tops lessons. His daughter suffered from a lot of food, or not food, but physical ailments. And I think her name is McKenna Peterson. And she's been very outspoken about eating exclusively only meat. And she's found that this is beneficial for her. So just recognizing that we go through different seasons, we have different things going on physically, mentally, emotionally, and physiologically that can kind of influence us. Also, the seasons, if it's hot weather, if it's cold weather. So just noting these kinds of things and just really getting more and more in tune with your own body and listening to what makes you feel good, meaning your digestive system processes the food and you eliminate it and you feel good and you have energy. Or other things, if you feel sluggish, or if you feel kind of that brain fog, or if you're noticing any spots on your skin, those are all signs that you might want to look at what you're putting in your body or what you're not putting in your body. So, but remembering that the identity diet is something that can also become a really potential mind constricting kind of thing. So you want to be really conscientious that if you're making these choices, that they're personal, and quite frankly, they're your business and nobody else's business. So it's okay to keep those reasons for yourself, and you don't necessarily need to share it with the world unless you really feel compelled, as long as it's coming with a really healthy balance of not judging someone for doing something else. So that's what identity diet is, and how not to become a victim to identity diet, as I did when I was in high school. And so holistic nutrition, of course, is then this idea that we're looking at holistically the body. We're looking at not only the stomach and how we digest things and how we feel, and what happens after we eat. Are we producing a lot of gas? Are we feeling really bloated? Do we have a lot of energy? Are we feeling really sluggish? Just noting all of those things. Also quantity, remembering that this is really your serving size. Your hand is a perfect example of a serving size. So if you look at a portion being basically the circumference of your hand, and then the palm being a circumference of the protein, the meat source. This is really appropriate for your palm, for your body, for your digestive system. So it's just a good gauge. Typically when you go out to a restaurant, they give you these giant plates or bowls, and you're like, you've got this like mound of food, and it's like, you know, food enough for 4 people technically. So it's something to be mindful of, and how people can kind of by accident overeat. So not only physical with holistic nutrition, but also that mental and emotional connection with what you're eating or what you're not eating. Eating within the seasons, understanding how seasons are designed and created to allow for fruits and vegetables to grow and to be harvested. And so recognizing when things are in season and when these things are not in season. And then also where you live in the world. So depending upon what kind of weather you guys are in, usually pretty warm weather. So understanding that eating more cooling foods like yogurt is a wonder. Laban is like a great example of something to consume on a daily basis. That helps with digestion, and it helps because it's so warm there. So holistic, of course, whole, meaning whole mind, body, spirit, is looking at all the potential ways that your food can influence you, and how to start to be selective in what to eat or what not to eat and what's right for you, and then being mindful of those changing seasons, not only through the actual seasons of the year, but the seasons of you as a person growing. Maybe what you ate when you were 10, 11, or 12 is not exactly what you want to be eating at 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, or vice versa, or just being mindful of those different seasons as you grow. So this channel, of course, I'll remind, is a channel that I want to create for middle and high school girls, 13 to 19-year-olds, and just explaining a lot of things about health and nutrition and fitness and working out, things that I would have benefited from when I was in middle and high school. So that's really the foundation of what's going to inspire these videos. However, I love requests, so please comment in the section below. What did you like? What was your takeaway? What was your aha from this? What would you like to hear more about? And if there's a particular topic that you'd like to hear about, please request it. And if you have any other questions about identity diet, or if you've come across a situation where you have interacted with identity diet, or if you yourself have identity diet, just being mindful of that. If you have any questions about that, or anything more detailed about holistic nutrition. Well, that's it for now, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.